Well, good morning there, tubers and tubettes. The title of this little video is, Should I Give My Filipina Girlfriend / Wife a Monthly Allowance or Budget? And this cut was this cut, I was motivated to make this because I've been in quarantine. We're going on 2 weeks now. And I've had an awful lot of time to reflect. Whew. So, I came upon these memories of when I first moved here and some of the knucklehead things that I did. And I thought, you know what? I've made all these horrible mistakes and really embarrassing moments and almost humiliating, decisions that I made. What should I do about that? And I thought, well, let's just share it with the general public. Well, this is a little video library of my life. So let's do the good, the bad, and the ugly, why don't we? So an allowance. I'll just, again, like I always try to do, I'll just tell you what I did. And what I learned from it and the experience or the knowledge that I gained, a little bit of wisdom by making mistakes. And so I'll share that with you, and then again, you can just draw your own conclusions. I'm not here to give anybody advice. God knows. Oh, it's hot out, sorry. So anyway, when I first got here 3 years ago, I had my game plan down, And I always get reminded, whenever I say game plan, I always get reminded of that old joke. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. So anyway, I came here with this game plan that I was going to do this, and my budget was going to be that. I wasn't going to make that mistake because I watched all these videos, just like you're watching this one now, about guys living here, specifically actually in Dumaguete, and what not to do. And one of the things they always advised was, don't move a girl in real quick with you. Don't go for the first girl you meet, and by all means, don't give her any money. So I went ahead and did all three of those things. I was introduced to a girl, and she was super pretty and super cute and super nice and all the other things. And I had lived here about 2.5, 3 months. I was in my new apartment. I was introduced to her by some neighbors at my very first apartment, I should say. I lived there for a month and a half, and she had come into town, and they had actually advised her to come up and meet me. And we got this idiot living across the way. So, anyway, I won't belabor you with or waterboard you with every detail of our encounter, but after a short period of time, maybe 2 weeks of seeing each other here and there, and I got settled into this apartment, I told her to come on over, and that eventually just turned into her moving in. And so I realize now, looking back with real clarity, that I didn't have then. And anybody that's followed my channel knows I was a little befuddled and muddled and going through a few changes of my own when I did first get here. So mentally, I wasn't really at my sharpest. Kind of like today. But that being said, what I reflected on was that I had brought with me, when it came to the male-female, man-woman relationship, I had brought with me the same standards that I had adhered to in the States. And I had made some really bad assumptions that, because in the States, I could give my wife, when we was married, I could give her X amount of dollars, and I could say, here, you use this for the house, and if you need a soda pop or the kids need something, go buy it. But that's our budget, don't go over, please. And most of the time that was adhered to, and it worked, it functioned. And I brought that notion, if you will, with me. So when this woman moved in with me, I'll leave her name out of it, I had the same inkling. I thought, well, I know everybody says don't give them money and this and that and the other, but there were times when her and I weren't together. I mean, we would go to eat, for example, and we would meet with a bunch of people. And sometimes I would stay with the boys at the resto bar, and we would have a beer, or we would watch a football game, and the ladies would kind of cluster up and grab a trike and go down to the mall and jicky jack around down there, sort of like girl time and boy time. And so that was great. And I thought, you know what? She needs to have some money in her pocket. So real early into this deal with her, I set up the bar way up here. And these are some of the other mistakes that I made along the way. When I was here, at that point in time, with only those few weeks that I'd been here, I was actually still in tourist mode. So all the stuff that I couldn't do in the States, I was running around and I was trying to do here. And I was not frantic about it, but I was busting a move every day. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to relax, I wanted to enjoy. And so I was always big on massage. I've always had a bad back. Since I was a little kid, I've got a misaligned spine. My back's always hurting. And so massages are a real nice treat that I couldn't afford in the States. They were 50, 60, 90 bucks a pop, even with a Groupon. So when I got over here, I found out I could get a massage for an hour for $5 or something to that effect. So I like to eat out. I like to splurge on a coffee and a dessert and a this and a that. Again, think tourist mode, because that's the mode or the thinking that I was in. And now I've got this woman with me, and I want to go get a massage, and I want to go get a dessert, and I want to go out and have this, and I want to go out and do that, and see this place, and and she got to come along. And the whole thing about one person living or two people living on a budget is, I don't care how you slice it, when you go out, it's 2 hamburgers, not 1. It's 2 Cokes or beers or whatever, not 1. So when you go out, or when I go out and I have a companion, then the price is going to double. End of story. If I go for a massage today, which I can't do because I'm in lockdown, but if I did, I would take May with me, and it wouldn't be $5, it would be $10. So there you go. Anyway, the bar that I set way up here was that we were out doing all this stuff all the time. So it was kind of like one big nonstop vacation. And the woman got accustomed to that, and here I go. This is the mistake I made, is those were the expectations that I set up early on in the relationship. And so if I was her, if I put myself in her shoes, I would think, well, hey, this guy's got unlimited money, obviously. He's, I never told her how much I had, but she's thinking, well, every day we go do this and we go do that. And when we go to the market, it's just get whatever you need and he pays for it. And if I need something. And so she got into the habit of seeing something at the store, seeing something at the shop, seeing a restaurant, and she would, indicate that she was interested in taking part of that. And I would always just say, sure, yeah, let's do it. Sure, why not? Yeah. And I kept thinking to myself, we're going to have to dial this back at some point. Little did I know that was going to be a tough row to hoe with her, because I had set the bar so high. The other thing that I did was I thought, well, she needs money in her pocket in the event that we're not together. And I kept thinking about my ex-wife, that I would give her X amount of dollars, and that would cover, knucklehead stuff like shampoo and food and stuff for the kids and French fries and the McDonald's drive-through and all that stuff they did. And she always stayed on track with that stuff. I'll do the same with her. So I came upon the number that 2,000 pesos, which is $40. At the time, I thought, that's very little money. Now I know how much money it really is. But I thought at the time, 2,000 a week, that's fair. 8,000 a month, that's $160. Do I want to spend that? No, but you know what? In my head, I was thinking, we're going to spend it anyway, because she's going to need makeup, and she's going to need this, and she's going to need that, and she's going to want whatever, and that's just part of the household expenses. No. That's not how it worked. The 8,000, because she had 2 kids and they were fully grown, because she had to, every month that I gave her that money, it did not go towards any kind of household stuff, personal items, shampoo, makeup, a smoothie. No, it went home. It went to the kids. End of story. I'm kind of a softie, and so I bought into that story, and I thought, yeah, okay, and I'll give it to the kids. And she always came up with a crisis. They didn't have this, they didn't have that. This one's graduating, that one needs whatever. The water got shut off, her sister's watching the kids, bop, 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 bop. I can give you examples from here till doomsday. So this went on for about, we were together about 9 months. I think this went on for about 7 months. I think 2 months into the deal was when I kind of initiated all this. And then we actually broke up primarily due to money reasons. That exactly. She was a black hole when it came to money. I don't want to say the word blame. I hold her responsible for about 10% of our parting ways, and myself I hold accountable for 90%, simply because I had unfairly painted an illusion of this was going to be our life every day. When I tried to explain later on, hey, listen, I showed her, this is how much money I've got, and this is how much the rent is, and this is how much for the scooter, and this is how much for the food, and this is how much for bop, 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 bop. And she would nod her head in agreement and say yes, and it was really going in one ear and out the other. I do not want to sound negative or disparaging to the Filipinas out here, but one thing I have just observed and noticed is they suck at math. I think it's the school system out here. I think it just sucks. Everybody uses a calculator for the simplest transaction, and at first I thought it was to ensure accuracy, which it might be, but I'm also pretty sure that they just can't do it in their head. There's just not they just don't have a knack for it, as far as I can see. Again, no disrespect. I'm no genius either, obviously. So I learned that lesson, that money out here that you're giving to your significant other, that's a Filipina for me, that I did, was a total and complete waste of time, not time, but waste of money, just resources. And I was trying to explain to her that, you know what, if you and I are going to be together for the long time, then we need to set aside money that I can set aside so that we have something to fall back on, we have something that we can take a nice trip on. And every time she'd nod her head, and then, 18 minutes later, oh boy, there's something happened back home. Can we fix that? Can we send them this? I know I swear I'll never ask again. I heard that over and over again. So, how do I resolve that today? Now I went for, her and I split up. As I've shared before, I went through about a year of just dating different women, and actually it took me a while to kind of remind myself of that mistake, because I began to repeat it again with other women that I dated. And so we would go here and we would go there and get whatever you want and buy that, and sure, I'll get it. Are your friends here? Oh, let me get her one too, and blah, 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 blah. You know what? If I went back in time, I wouldn't change a thing. Because I had a good time. They had a good time. It was a spur of the moment deal. I'm still alive. I'm not broke. I still get my check every month. We've saved up a little bit of money, and the beat goes on. If you're going to fall down and make a mistake, at least learn from it, for crying out loud. So now I went through that year, and as that year went by, I really tapered it down. I really drew back on being so generous and being so quick, if you will, to say, let's do this and let's do that. I just began to look at not only the financial aspect of it, but why does this person want to be with me? Is it just because I've got some money and we're going to go out and spend it? or do they really, really like me? So none of the girls that I dated really, it wasn't a money issue with them. It was just more of a personality or age difference and all that kind of stuff that we didn't really blend or mix. And I'm still friends with all of them as far as I know. But when I met May, it had been lesson learned. And her and I, we did go out, we did go to some restaurants, we did do a few things, but it was much more of a occasion, if you will, to go get a foot massage or to go and have a meal. I knew that May was not going to be an issue with money on a lot of different levels by a lot of different examples that she set. And these weren't intentional. In my mind, they were just, it was showing her true nature when it came to that. We went out to breakfast one time. Here's a little May story. Excuse me. We went out to breakfast one time, and I ordered bacon, an American breakfast, bacon, eggs, toast, potatoes, coffee. And I was ranting and raving about how delicious it was and how good it was. And May was observing. And she says, "How much is that breakfast?" And I said, "It's 250 pesos. And she goes, "Wow, that's a lot of money." And I acknowledged, I said, "Yeah, that's a lot of money." I didn't want to be so flippant anymore. But I said, "But it's really good. It's really tasty. I really like it. So I think it's got value. I think this is a good buy for me because I really like it. It's prepared the way I like." And she just nodded, and that was that. About 3 or 4 days later, May called me in and she said, "Hey, your breakfast is ready." I said, "Oh, great." And lo and behold, she had prepared an American breakfast for me. She had made bacon, eggs, potatoes, toast, and coffee. And as she set the plate down in front of me, she just said 80 pesos and walked away. She was letting me know in her own little funny way. And that still makes me laugh because I can see, if you can see the look on her face when she did it. But she was showing me, "Hey, listen, pal, I'm saving you money. I'm cognizant of how much stuff costs, and I can prepare the same meal for you at home for a third of the price." When her brother-in-law passed away, May asked me she didn't even tell me he passed away. I didn't even know this happened. There was no crisis as far as I knew. She just asked me one day when we were going to her sister's, she said, "Hey, can you drop me off at my bank and then I'll walk over to my sister's?" Because I was going to go off and do something else. I said, "Yeah." And so I dropped her off at her bank. I went off and did what I did. And it was maybe a week or two later that something came up in conversation. And I was saying, "Hey, what's going on with your savings account?" Because she had very proudly at one point in time showed me that she was saving money. I think she had 30 or 40,000 pesos there. And she goes, "Oh, well, my savings account's gone." And I said, "Well, what happened to your savings account?" She said, "My brother-in-law died." I said, "I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me?" She goes, "Well, it's just, I didn't want to bother you with it." Now, that would have been an awesome opportunity of having someone die that I could actually go down and look at in the morgue to hit me up for some dough to help the family. She didn't do it. She had drained her savings account to help her family. And so what I did 3 months ago is I set up a little PayPal account on this YouTube channel. And I'd asked people for, or I didn't ask them, I put May on, and we explained that because I don't have the money to give her 30K. And people donated some money, and we got her on the road to getting better. I will never give her an allowance like I did the other woman because I provide the free, what she gets, she can live with her mom right now, or another guy, I guess, but as it sits, she can live with her mom, and that's that. Or she can live with me. When she lives with me, she doesn't pay any rent, she doesn't pay for the air conditioning, she doesn't pay for any electricity, she doesn't pay for going out, she doesn't pay for any food, makeup, medicine, you name it. You know the stuff. All the stuff it takes to live a life. She's got that. And she realizes that. And so what else does she need? Well, she's going to need some sort of income when I'm gone. She's going to need an income stream. She's going to need a savings account to cushion, and that's just good financial uh, good financial foundation for her to follow. And so what we've done with May is she started up a YouTube channel. Uh, it's Baby May's Cooking and Adventures. She wants me to advertise that for her. And I'll try to put a link on there if I can figure it out this time. But we are not going to do the allowance thing. She's going to learn to make her own money. And hopefully she'll be able to do that via YouTube. Just yesterday on her cooking show, she made a big mess of sticky rice, which I don't like. But she made a big thing of it. And she asked me, she says, can I have 350 pesos to go buy all the ingredients for this sticky rice? She said, I'll pay you back. I said, yeah, sure. So I gave her the 350 pesos. She went out and she bought the sticky rice. And she made it. She spent all day making it. And then she got up and she actually videoed this. It's on her channel. She went out and she went like door to door selling the sticky rice. And she made 290 pesos. And she assured me this morning, she said, you know what? This is what I loved about it. She says, I owe you 60 pesos. She never forgot about that. She said, but look, I still got some sticky rice left over. I think I can squeeze it out. Okay, cool. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I made all those mistakes. Again, if you're coming out here, I'm not advising you. I'm just sharing with you that that's what happened to me. So I know that there's guys that I've been talking to, that they've got girlfriends that they're talking to online. They're going to meet her. They're going to marry her. They're doing this. They're sending her money now. I say rock on. You know, if that's what you want to do it. But what I have learned, and by experience, is start low. And then as things progress, as the relationship gets on solid ground, as soon as I know that I have feelings for this person, as soon as I'm valuable to them and they are valuable to me, that's when I want to start to invest more into us. Not her, us. All right, kids, I will see you next time. Bye.